I'm Chris Teutsch, Forage Extension Specialist at the University of Kentucky's Research and Education Center in Princeton, Kentucky. This is part 2 of hay quality, defining, quantifying, and supplementing. And we're going to be talking about hay sampling. So in order to analyze a forage, we've got to get a good sample, and that sample has to represent the hay that we're feeding. So it's absolutely critical that we get a good sample. Otherwise, the results that we get back in terms of hay quality from the lab won't be much good to us. So the number one thing to remember is that we want to sample each hay lot separately. A hay lot is one field, one harvest. So field A, harvest 1 is one hay lot. Field A, harvest 2 would be 2 hay lots. Field B, harvest 1 would be 3 hay lots. So we need to sample each hay lot separately. We always want to use a well-maintained hay probe to collect the samples. Don't pull a handful of hay out and bring it into the extension office and give it to your agent. That's not an adequate way to sample hay. We have to use a hay probe to get a good representative sample. The probe length should be 18 inches and the probe should be at least 3/8 inches in diameter. We want to make sure we have a sharp tip so it cuts the hay without heating. We sample round bales from the side and square bales from the ends. And we want to collect 10 to 20 cores depending on the length of our probe and the diameter of our probe. What we want to avoid doing is getting too big of a sample. If we get too big of a sample, they won't grind the entire sample at the lab. And that's a problem because the finer particles settle out to the bottom of the sample. So when they reach in the bag to grab the hay for analysis, a lot of times they'll be grabbing the coarser or larger particles, missing the finer particles that can contain a significant amount of the nutrition in that hay sample. So we have a real nice hay sampling publication that's available online. You can either scan this QR code to get to it or simply Google UKY AGR 257.